So again, here's the problem. Buster Posey's going to hit the ball 40 meters per second, 67 degrees. It's 1 meter above the ground when he hits it. He's hitting it towards the fence. 14 meters is the height of the fence, 110 meters away. So question A is, how long does it take to reach the plane of the fence? So let's go ahead and tackle that problem. The very first thing you have to do is you have to break apart this velocity. So this is 40, 67 degrees. So you're going to find your horizontal and vertical velocity. This would be 40 cosine 67. Someone got a number for me? 15? And this would be 40 sine 67. Okay, so when we set up our givens, x, y, VOX we just found 15.6. VFX is the same because what's the acceleration? Horizontal acceleration is 0. So these kind of three things will always be true on these projectiles. These two will be the same, and this will be 0. Okay, delta dx, do we know that? 110. So from the ball to the plane of the fence, that's 110. Do we know the time? Okay, y direction, the initial y, 36.8. V final y. Is this negative 36.8? No. Okay, you cannot assume the ball is at the same level it was hit at. It's going to most likely be above or somewhere on the fence, not necessarily the same height. Can we say this is 0? What would it mean for this to be 0? It went over the fence at its peak, right? It hit the fence at its peak. You can't assume that either. All right, acceleration is gravity. What about delta dy? Is this 14? Is this 13? Is this 15? This is unknown. This is what we are trying to find. Okay, so delta dy, or we're going to find that in part B. So be careful. They'll give you values. Sometimes that's just to make the problem more interesting. We want to see, did he hit a home run or not? We're going to find delta dy. If it's over the fence, he did. If it's not, he didn't. All right, and we don't know the time. Okay, so it should be pretty obvious which one we're going to use to find the time, right? We know 4 things over here. So use that side to find the time. So we're going to use the x side. Let's go ahead and use this one. Make sure you're only using x values. This one's nice for the x side because this is 0. A is always 0, so it just turns into d equals vt. Alright, so that's going to be the time, about 7 seconds to reach the plane. So one of the important things, once you know the time in the x, you now know the time in the y. Now we can go ahead and find the delta dy. So let's do that. We are going to use our y values. This time we have no choice. What equation do we have to use? The same one, delta d. That's really the big equation for this unit. So I would always look at that one first and see if it works for you. VOT 36.8 times 704 plus 1/2 negative 98. 704. Don't forget to square that. Okay, what are you guys getting for delta dy? Did you say 16.4? 16.36? That's good. So we'll go 15 or 16? 16.4. Okay. There we go. So that's our delta dy. Is that the answer? Can I box it up? So depending on when you rounded, how you rounded, it might be slightly different. So we'll just go ahead and stick with this for now. If you got something different, that's okay. However, this is not the answer. Because what did the question ask? How far above the fence was it? So let's look at our picture. The fence is 14. Does that mean that the answer is 2.4? 16.4 minus 14? No, why not? Because it started at 1. So you have to be careful. Make sure you look at the problem. Remember, 16.4 means you're 16.4 from where you started. And we started a meter above the ground, which means it is 16.4 plus 1 meter, 17.4 above the ground, minus 14 is 3.4. Okay, or 2.9 if you rounded differently. 3.4 meters above the fence. We started 1 meter above the ground, so the total above the ground is 17.4. Okay, there was a third question. We're running out of time here, so let's just quickly do it. Is the ball rising or falling when it reaches the plane? There's lots of ways you can solve this. The easiest way, in my opinion, is to look at the V final. Calculate the V final. And if V final is positive, what does that tell you? It's rising. And if V final is negative, it's falling. So I'll leave it up to you to solve this. You should get falling. You should get negative falling. There are multiple ways to solve it. I would encourage you to think about what are some other ways that we could go ahead and solve this problem as well. Okay?